If he pisses me off, I'm gonna throw him back. But not yet. Uh, I got like 200 students, so pretty sure we can outthrow him. Uh, all right. So somebody says, "Can I go over those questions?" Yeah, I'd love to go over. Can you tell me which question is it? The last three, right? AP pre-calculus. Okay. So the last three question was which question? Can somebody tell me?
X squared less than 2x plus 5.
Okay, so this is a yeah, this is just a quadratic inequality. So if you have anything like quadratic, and this is known as quadratic inequality, so it'll be 3x squared minus 2x minus 5 less than 0. So make sure you set equation is less than 0 or greater than 0. Make sure they are equal or greater or less than 0. I will factor this. Those of you guys still know how to do the box method. It's very, very helpful that you know how to do box method because sometimes number can be kind of tricky, especially like this guy, 3x and x, 1 and 5, and that's gonna give you 3x and 5x. Which one needs to be negative? Y need to be negative, right? So it'll be 3x minus 5 and x plus 1, and this less than 0. Is that okay? Is good? Now I'm gonna do a number line, but we need to find out the points that we're gonna test, right? So some point that we are testing is gonna be -1 here because we said x plus 1 equal to 0. We set this factor. We're gonna set another one, 3x minus 5 equal to 0. So x equal to -1, x is equal to 5 over 3. So this is a 5 over 3. I'm gonna write down two factor here. I see some people did not write down the sign because the sign does matter. Because I can show you another question when we deal with compound today. Compound inequality is needed even more sign. So if you don't understand me, ask me question. Raise your hand, ask question. Because the goal is to make you better student. But not only that, you want to make me better teacher. You're not gonna make me better teacher. Just stay silent in your seat and don't raise your hand. Because the true representation of my ability as teacher is gonna how you improve. But if you stay there, don't ask the question, you're not gonna improve. So it's okay for you to ask question. I'm not gonna say that you're not allowed to ask question. I'd rather you ask me 1,000 questions until you understand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug in a value between -30 to -1. The idea is I'm gonna plug in -2 or -3 or -4. Doesn't matter. If I plug into here, right? If I plug into that just says I'm gonna plug into -3 into here because I pick a value between -infinity to -1. If -3 times 3, it's gonna be -9 minus 5. It's gonna give you negative something. I don't really care about what that something is. I just care about the sign. They're negative sign. I plug in -2 plus 1 is negative. Is a positive, right? Now the best thing to plug in between -1 to 5 or 3 is what? 0. So if you plug in 0, that's just going to be negative. This is positive. This is negative. So negative times positive is a negative. And then if I have a 3 to infinity, if I plug in, it's going to be positive, positive, positive. Now, again, now you had to answer the question. The question is right here. This is the pay attention. You want to look for the region that is less than 0. So less than 0, which is negative. So this is the region I want to pick. So it'll be -1 to 5 or 3. parenthesis, not bracket because it's not less equal to, and this is your answer here. Yes.
Hey, I got the same thing, but you told me to do something.
What?
I got the same thing, but you told me to do something with.
Actually, I need to see the signs. I need to see
Okay.
those signs. The reason why I need to see those signs because we're going to talk about compound inequality today. That might be more. Yes. Oh, like a negative infinity to -1? Okay, so the reason why is because at this questions here is looking for less than 0. If it's less than 0, that means I'm looking for the negative region. So the only one that's negative region is between this interval here to here. So the questions change, right? The question could be greater than 0 or less than 0. So pay attention to this individual part. Are they greater than 0? Or are they less than 0? Yes, Val. Oh, okay. So that's a great question. If it's less than, that means you can, like, let's just say if I plug in -1. If I plug in -1 here, -1 plus 1 is 0. So 0 times anything is 0. And 0 is 0 less than 0. That should be a false. But 0 is less equal to 0. But the question is less than, so you cannot including -1, so it has to be a parenthesis. You cannot including -1. If it's less equal to, then you can include in -1, then that's a bracket. So anything there was another less than equal to or greater equal to, that could be most likely going to be a bracket because you can include those values. Yes?
There are two positive reasons. If we were like looking for greater than, would that be like a union?
Yes, will be this interval union the other interval. Everybody understood? Okay. Now, why does this question matter, right? Oh, also, how do I check the answer on Desmos, right? 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. So hopefully that you can understand how do I check it. 3x squared minus 5x is minus 5x minus 2, right? Minus 2x minus 5. Now, if you see here, right, it's less than 0. That means below x-axis. Like from which x value is below axis? -1 to 1.666, which is 5/3. So you can see it from graph. Now, if you do less than 0, it's going to show up like this, which is, I don't prefer it, but the problem is you at this point you can click on it. It's between those values, the regions between. But I don't prefer to do that. I prefer you actually understand like this and just say they are below x-axis. And that's how you check your answers. Does that make sense? Okay. Do I need to do one more question? Should be good. Okay. But however, also understand why this number line test is important, right? Because I can give you same thing. I can give you something that says, I can give you something like, you have to show your new name. Show your name, time, date, whatever reason, finish up the test, whatever. Does the teacher care? Now, can I give you something called compound inequality? This is a compound inequality. I could have like this: x minus 3, x plus 2, and x minus 5. And I'm looking for greater than 0, or I'm looking for greater equal to 0. So this is called compound inequality. It's no longer quadratic because this is not, the left-hand function is actually a rational function. It's actually a compound inequality. Then you say, okay, but the idea is you're still looking for something times something divided by something. in this case, I don't really care about are they dividing or multiplying. Why? Because dividing and multiply are roughly the same. Because we only care about the sign. The sign is the only thing that matter in this particular case. So I don't really care about whatever it is, multiply and dividing, because multiply and dividing is still coordinate the sign anyway. So that's why the sign chart is very important. So let's say, for example, I have a sign chart. Then I'm going to set equal to 0. So x minus 3 equal to 0. X equal to 3. X plus 2 equal to 0. X equal to negative 2. X minus 5 equal to 0. X equal to 5. So then I'm going to do a multiple sign chart here. So that's going to give you negative 2, 3, and 5. Is that okay? Negative infinity, infinity. Now I'm going to write down x minus 3, x plus 2, and x minus 5. Because now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 regions I have to choose from. It's not always plus, minus, plus. You have to pay attention to, hey, in this case, which value I want to pick between negative infinity to negative 2. Negative 3. Okay, what happened if I plug in negative 3 into this? Negative, right? I don't care about negative 6. I just care about it's negative. So I'm just going to plug in negative here. Negative 3 plus 2 is what? Negative 3 minus 5. So 3 negative sign times together is going to be what? Negative, because negative times negative is positive, and times one more negative is going to give you negative. So now between negative 2 to 3 is what sign is going to be? 0. So 0 minus 3 is what? Negative, positive, negative, right? So what sign is this one? Positive, because of 2 negative signs. What happened 3 to 5? 4. So 4 minus 3 is positive, positive, negative, right? So that's going to be negative. And that's plugging in 6. 6 is going to be positive, 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 positive. So what is the answer this time?
Negative 3 and 5.
You have to be more specific. Not like saying you're wrong, but that you have to be more specific. Anybody else besides Ben? Winston?
Negative 2, 3, and negative 2, 3, and then 5 to infinity.
Yeah, but that's not very specific enough. Lyndon?
Drop it 5 to infinity.
Right. This will be better. Now, there's a bracket, union 5 to infinity. Actually, this one's parenthesis. Okay. And that'll be an answer because you got, yes.
Isn't there a thing where if one of them is negative, it's gonna like change every single time?
No. Oh, yes. Sometimes if you have a negative sign, it will change it all the time. Yeah, we can talk about that. But I actually make a mistake. Can somebody find my mistake? Yes, Sydney? Okay, I make 2 mistakes then. Thank you, Sydney. So I actually make it another. I actually make the mistake. I actually make 2 mistakes. So Sydney found one of them. Okay, good. What's the other one? No, it's positive 5.
That can't be 5 because the denominator.
Ah, good, Isaac. Good job. It's actually parenthesis on this one. Because what happened if I plug in 5? It's going to be 0 on the bottom. If anything divided by 0 is automatically undefined. That no longer an answer. So this is called compound inequality. That's why I say this number line test is so important, because you don't know what is it. Yes.
Can you explain how you get the negative versus positive?
Where?
Like
The top or bottom? This part or this part? The bottom part? Okay. So just think about if you have a negative number times negative number, right? That becomes what? Positive. And then this one is positive times negative. So positive times negative is being turned again negative. Samuel, does that make sense? So now you see this negative times positive, that's going to be negative, but this negative times this negative is equal to positive. So the rule of the thumb is actually just pick how many negative sign there. If they are even negative sign, then it's automatically positive. If they are odd negative sign, it's automatically negative. Samuel, good question.
Please a restaurant.
Can I zoom in? Uh-huh.
Please a restaurant.
Can you get the answer again and say how you get it in bracket and how to get it in parentheses?
Okay, so the reason why it's bracket, right? I can technically plug in -2 into this function because the -2 plus 2 is going to be 0. The nice thing about 0 is anything multiplied by 0 is going to be 0. So be 0 greater or equal to 0. That's also a true statement. So -2 actually had to be inclusive. And 3, well, 3 is right here. 3 minus 3 is 0. If this is equal to 0, it doesn't matter what happened here. 0 times anything is 0. Right. So therefore 3 is included because 0 is greater than 0 in this situation as well. However, not 5 though. Because you got 5 minus 5 is 0 on the denominator. And you got 5 minus 3 and you got 5 plus 2. So on the top it's going to be 14 over 0. But 14 over 0 is actually undefined. Anything undefined should not include it because that's not part of it. So therefore, this one's a parenthesis, and that's why I said I make mistake. I caught it though, unfortunately, but Sydney caught me another mistake because I forgot a negative sign. But actually good, like you guys are paying attention to details. Yes.
The sign is like less than or greater than equal to. Does that like tell you something on the union thing?
No, the reason why I put union is because they have two intervals. So today, if I say it's less than 0, then my union thing is still going to be there, but instead it's going to be negative infinity to -2 bracket, and then 3 bracket I parenthesis, but it's a union in between. So union just means they are this interval or this interval. So that's why you have union. Questions? Hopefully you guys understand how this works. Now, sometimes that Ben was also mentioned, I don't know why you know this, but imagine if I have a negative sign right here. Okay, so use different color to, if I have a negative sign here, then everything switch because you're gonna provide a negative sign on all of them. Then all the signs gonna switch. So Ben did point out something that it does happen. So for example, let me give you the example. So let's erase this. So I don't want to cause confusion here, but I'm just trying to say that it can happen like that. So let's just say I'll just give you one like this. Says negative x minus 2 and x plus 5 like this, right? So what happened is you're gonna have a negative 5 and you're gonna have 2, and you're gonna have a negative, you're gonna have x minus 2 and you have an x plus 5, but you're gonna have the negative sign also included. So this negative sign is gonna affect every single term. Does that make sense? The negative sign is gonna affect every single term. And now I'm gonna plug in negative infinity to -5. So let's say -6. That's gonna give you negative, negative. So there are 3 negatives. It's gonna be a negative sign. Now, if I plug in 0, it's gonna give you negative. This is a positive. This is gonna be positive sign. So instead of positive, negative, positive, now it's negative, positive, negative. This one's gonna be 3. 3 is gonna be positive, positive, negative. So greater than 0 is gonna be not including -5, but including 2 bracket. And this is the situation here. Yes.
Don't we usually like multiply that by -1 and change it and greater than 0 to less than 0?
I prefer just leave the negative sign out there and just change the other sign there. If you distribute it, it create different set of problem. And I'm gonna give you an example right here. Okay. So sometimes you can have this, right? And you don't want to distribute it. And there's a reason why you don't want to distribute it. Sometimes you could have like this. And I'm gonna say less equal to 0 this time. And sometimes you don't want to distribute it because obviously I'm gonna have a -5 and 2. Does that make sense? I have those 2 endpoints. And also have a negative sign here and the x -2 square and the x plus 5. So the cool thing about this thing is the sign you don't want to distribute here because you cannot distribute into a square. That doesn't work. But however, you can leave the negative sign on top on all the terms. Okay. Now, what happened to the second one? Well, this one's kind of interesting. If I plug in -4, what am I going to get? It's a positive, right? Because it actually doesn't matter which value I plug in because I'm going to square it anyway. So this one actually ended up to be all positive. Do you see what I'm saying? And then -6 plus 5 is going to give you a negative. This is a positive. This is a positive. So end up this is a negative, negative, positive. Now the answer is less than 0. So we cannot including -5. But we can including 2 because if I plug in 2, it's going to give me 0. Actually, like this and union and 2 to infinity bracket. So technically, it can sum up to be -5 to infinity parenthesis parenthesis. So this is actually this. Final answer is going to be like this. Because you're including 2, and 2 pretty much is all the thing negative over there. So this is called compound inequality. Kind of difficult for you guys to understand. I do want to talk about a little bit more events. It does need it to be a fraction in order to be compound inequality. It does need to be a fraction. For example, you cannot have this. You cannot do a number line test. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not. You cannot do a number line test like this. Miranda, you okay? Higher. Okay, so you cannot do a number line test here. What you can do is you combine the fraction because this is not a simple fraction. Owning the simple fraction can be doing compound inequality because those things are multiplied together. So I'm trying to say is this can, if this is a minus, you can multiply by x minus 2, x minus 1, x minus 1. And it's greater than 0. And you see that this is 1 minus 2, x minus 1 over x minus 1. And those x minus 1 cannot cancel. Do you know why x minus 1 cannot cancel? Why?
Bottom one's not.
The bottom one or the top ones? It's actually the top one's not a factor. The bottom one is a factor. You can cancel like this. This can cancel because that's a factor. But in this case, it's not. So you're going to be 1 minus 2x plus 2 greater than 0 over x minus 1. And then you can say, oh, okay, well, that's going to be 3 minus 2x over x minus 1. And then you can do a number line test from here. But you cannot do a number line test. Number line test does not work here. So number line test. It does not work in this situation. Don't work. Only work if it's a simple fraction. Only work if it's a simple fraction. Only work if it's simplified fraction. Then you can do a number line test for this particular situation, and that's it. Questions? So you can get compound inequality. Does that make sense? Okay. I want to talk about, since we are here, I want to talk about domain of a function. How do you find domain of a function? For example, f of x equal to x squared minus, x plus 5 over x minus 3. Actually, sorry, x squared minus 16, like this. How do I find domain? Do you guys know what domain mean? Yes. Okay, what else? Anybody else? Do you know how to find a domain? Besides Ben? Sydney? Copy. Sophia?
You don't want 0 to be on the lower.
Ah, good. You don't want a 0 be on the lower part because we talk about this. You cannot divide it by 0. So if you ever want to find domain of a function, take the bottom cannot equal to 0. It's the first time you use that cannot equal sign. But the way you solve it is going to be solved exact same way. So it's going to be x. You can do it this way, x plus 4, x minus 4 cannot equal to 0. X plus 4 cannot equal to 0. X minus 4 cannot equal to 0. X cannot equal to negative 4. X cannot equal to 4. Guess what? What is the domain of this function? It's negative infinity to negative 4 union from negative 4 to 4 union from 4 to infinity. And that is the domain of the function. That means I can plug in all this value into the function, it's fine. But that's just another way to say I cannot plug in negative 4 and I cannot plug in 4 because it's open parenthesis. Is this okay? Can you find the domain of this function? Set the bottom cannot equal to 0. Okay, then you can find the domain. So all the stuff all the way to today is what's gonna be on Tuesday's test. Start from tomorrow, we're gonna talk about something new. And Monday we're gonna talk about something new. But we're gonna keep on reviewing all the stuff. Now, this question could be on SAT. They will ask you that says, I have seen this question on SAT before. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. SAT practice 1. SAT practice. I think it's on the first one. I'm not sure. I'm gonna pull it out for you to show you. Now, like I said, I'm gonna help you with SAT. Do you see this? Same question. For what value of x is the function h above is undefined? This one's a little bit tricky. We're going to talk about this one. This one's actually slightly trickier, but this is an SAT question. This is on SAT practice. I pull out from SAT. It's not something I'm not only I'm gonna prepare you for AP pre-calc. This is a kind of overlap, right? So obviously they cannot equal to 0 on the bottom. And I can factor this, right? So it'll be 5x squared minus 42 plus 29x. This is 5x and this is x. 7 times 6, right? So 42x and what? 6x, right? Oh, 35. Sorry, I can't multiply. 35. Then this one need to be negative. So it'll be 5x minus 6 and the x plus 7 cannot equal to 0. X cannot equal to 6 over 5. X cannot equal to negative 7. For negative infinity to negative 7, union from negative 7 to 6 over 5. Union from 6 over 5 to infinity. Is that okay? Now, why do we need to do number line tests? I'm going to show you another situation. So this is called rational equation. Radical equation also have domain issue. Let's just say if you have f of x equal to square root of x squared minus x minus 6. And I say, hey, find domain. Do you guys know how to find domain on this one? Yes, Isaac?
Would it be like all real numbers?
Nope. Imagine if I were to plug in 0 in the x, it would be square root of negative 6. Is square root of negative 6 defined value? No. You cannot square root a negative number. Sophia?
It can be negative.
It cannot be negative. So how do I find domain? I had to do x squared minus x minus 6 what? How do I write cannot equal to negative?
Bracket 0 to negative.
No. How do I set it up? Yes. Greater than 0. But she makes slightly mistake. Can you modify that? Not just greater than, huh?
Equal.
Greater than equal to. Because you can square root 0, but you cannot square root negative value, right? So then you can do a number line test here. So that's why we need a number line test on a lot of different situations. This is one of the situation. How do I find domain? And you guys already know how to do that. This is gonna be negative 2, and this is 3, x minus 3, x plus 2, right? You guys already know how to do that. Just gonna be, I think this is negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, positive, positive. So what is domain of this function? Negative infinity to negative 2, bracket or parentheses? Bracket.
Bracket.
Because you can equal to negative 2. Union from 3 to infinity. So you still need to do number line tests. So even though it's a question that you never seen before, how to find domain. So basically it's radicand. The inside the material is called radicand greater or equal to 0. So if you set inside greater than 0, you can find out a value. You can plug in, you cannot plug in 0, but you can plug in 4. 4 will be fine. And if you plug in -8, it will be fine. But you cannot plug in any value between -2 to 3. You can plug in any value from -infinity to -2, and then 3 to infinity, but not anything in between. Not anything in between. Does that make sense? So that's why we do a number line test. We can find domain now. But this is a higher level question. This is something that you can use later in calculus. Right? Is this okay? So today's stuff, you're gonna have to find domain of the function. Sometimes I could have this. You just said this greater than 0. However, you got to be careful of the denominator, right? Denominator cannot equal to 8. So 8 cannot be including part of a domain because the denominator is actually a bigger problem than inside. But whatever inside radical has to be greater than 0. And that's why you need to do a number line test. And that's why a lot of you guys, I see your homework with no number line test. I'm gonna say, no, you need to learn how to do a number line test because a function could be more complex. And this is called compound inequality. So you're gonna set this x plus 2, x minus 5, x minus 8 greater equal to 0, but also at the same time x already cannot equal to 8 because if x equal to 8, it's automatically undefined. So 8 is just cannot be a bracket, has to be a parenthesis at 8. Kind of like very, very tricky. You're talking about, we are no longer doing elementary math now. You're talking about a little bit higher level. Now it's about a pre-calc level. We're going to go back down again on Friday. We're going to go back to talk about rationalize, conjugate, simplify radicals, and doing all that. But this is something that is becoming more advanced now, becoming like actually calculus perspective now, pre-calculus perspective now. Any questions? No? Okay. So if you failed yesterday's test, make sure you stay over, went over it, ask somebody to help you. We have a more of a data meeting at the media center. If you're interested in math, let me know. If you want to join, you can go in to media center for interest meeting. Officers are gonna be there. I'm the sponsor for Moava Data. So, you know, I don't know how much interest you in math. Me, I like math. So, huh? Can I do that? Okay, yeah, sure. I'll try to do that very quickly. 8, right? 5 and -2, right? So this is a negative, 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 negative. 0 is going to be positive, negative, negative, positive. And 6 will be positive, positive, negative. And positive, 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 positive. Negative. So greater than 0 is going to be -2 to 5. Union, not including 8 to infinity. Like that.
Excuse me, I'm gonna ask you. So I got a 59 on the test. Am I able like to turn in the like?
Yeah. It's much better than leave it unknown, right? Actually, matter of fact, everybody, if you got like less than 80, should try it. I mean, maybe not for credit, but for like knowledge, right? Okay, how can I do better next time? Right. I don't know what you mean.
If I turn it in, would I get extra credit?
I will give you some.
Okay, have a good one.
What's 3 point? Not everybody show up that day.
That's a lot.
Mr. Gator.
Tutoring usually here, but today I had to go to Mobile Data meeting. I'll be back. But if you need help, you can just stay after school. I'm always tutoring here.
How would I start?
Okay, so you multiply the 5 and 6 together, it'll be 30. And this 10 to the negative 2 times 10 to the negative 8 is going to be 10 to the what?
And to 11.
No. Well, negative 10 first. So, yeah, so I'm going to give you an example
You're gonna
here.
need a setter. We lost Nathan.
Wait, really?
Oh yeah, he was a senior.
You try to recruit,
Maybe. He was on JV last year. He's pretty solid.
but why you didn't play this year?
Yeah, it's not started yet. It's
That's
like
after
the end of
basketball
the-
season.
Yeah, that's started.
Okay.
Alright, bye, Syria.
Bye. What's up?
Oh, for the score that you entered in Scholar, is that what I got, or is it because it didn't affect my grade? Like for the test?
No, I didn't grade it, but give you a rough estimate. But I'm gonna probably go back and change it, but that's a rough estimate. But it's not really fair to you because you come in late and something you might not cover. So I didn't want to count it. So I just keep it as 90, but that's probably where you are right at this moment anyway. And I don't usually give people like really higher than 90 unless they really earned it. So I think that's the only thing I can give it to you. But you did really well for consider you never been in this room and you were in Ken's room all the time. So that's actually not bad. Actually, Ken was kind of upset that you left.
Oh.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
he's like, why you take my student? I said I didn't take her. She asked to be here. I didn't ask anything. So anyway, negative 8 and 5. This is gonna be negative 3, right? Now this is 4.2 times 10 to the first, and times 10 to the negative 3. So it'd be 4.2 times 10 to the negative 2. Same thing with the division, except this one is 0.6. 0.6, you had to convert that scientific notation as well.
Have a good
Okay.
day, Mr.
Okay.
This is for the bulletin board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the one at the all the way at the corner of the hallway. That's the only one that was left.
That's fine. We would like to be
Okay.
enough run our hallway anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
You go to your own meeting?
Yeah. I have to attend for the first time. I don't want to be there. You know how much I hate meeting.
Yeah. What's it gonna be? What are you gonna do?
Just introduce myself. At least people to know me. Ping pong Friday?
Yeah, I'll be here.
I brought a whole box of ping pong ball.
I got worried this morning because I forgot about it, and then I remembered, and I was like, shit, I gotta play Mr. Ye today, but I didn't bring my paddle, so I was like, but it's
Friday.
tomorrow, so yeah.
That's a I got like 120 balls. And I'm buying a ball machine.
Like the shoot them at you?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I went to China and I have import them the
So you're for this?
yeah, we will never run out of ball now.
Amazing. I need to get more for my house.
To get to the side, so it's like this.
So this is kind of exponent rules, so be negative 5 minus negative 3, so be negative 2.
So you don't change this part.
Well, this one you do, but what is 3 divided by 5? 3 divided by 5 is 0.6.
It's not on the board. Show up for me.
No, that's I didn't write that. I'm not gonna write that.
I need to get more balls for my house because I had a bunch, but then somebody told me to bring them to a party and then they threw them away.
What?
I know.
They're kind of expensive. The good balls very expensive. The
Like-
good balls like $1 each.
The 3-star. For the I think they have. I don't know.
No, this is a practice ball. But if you like a competition balls, like butterfly competition balls, yeah, those like it's so bouncy, like you can like it's like just as bouncy as basketball sort of. Those are going like $1.80 a ball.
That's crazy.
Yeah, on a competition, like they only give like each table one ball, and you're gonna play with that one ball until the end because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
That's good. I'll be back though. I gotta go to a meeting,
Okay.
so maybe not today. You can come back tomorrow.
Okay, so leave it there.
No, you can come back tomorrow and do it. Tomorrow I have more time. Pick up my phone.
email 255. If you are not under the supervision of a coach or a teacher, please exit the school campus now.
Hello.
Looking to speak with Mr. Ye.
Yes, this him.
Hi, this is Kristen calling from Ophthalmology. I'm calling because we had you on the schedule previously for evaluation with a visual field, but our machine was down. But we did get a new machine and now getting those appointments rescheduled. So I was just calling to see if we could get that appointment rescheduled for you.
Sure. When do you have it
Do you
available?
prefer something in the morning or afternoon?
What the latest time in the afternoon?
Usually the latest is at 4 p.m.
Okay. I can do that. But
4 p.m. on October 3rd.
October 3rd, and nothing in September. October 3rd. October 3rd, 4 p.m.
And your eyes will be dilated as well.
Oh, okay. Why is that? That's just a year checkup, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I cannot drive. I had somebody.
I mean, it's up to you. If you don't feel comfortable driving, then I would suggest bringing someone with you.
October 3rd is fine. Yeah, October 3rd is
Okay.
fine.
Okay, so I have you down for October 3rd at 4 p.m.
Okay.
See you then, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
是真的，如被人换了公主的衣服，以视为在冤枉人前妻，这个话，怕是更多都挂在了狂徒的腰带上。好，终于让本宫抓到把柄，咱们这就去告诉皇上。娘娘如此大阵仗去表现殿，定会惊动他。不如娘娘亲自去捉奸，那便是如何与人不掉。对，我们这就去把这对奸夫淫妇抓住。哼，咱们两个就在一起。不行，先飞娘娘，给一个人的错，变成发挥一个人就好。现在当你人的老奴才当得挺吃气。我就说皇上不该封，这次看他还怎么糊弄。是本宫的剑。皇上，走。皇上说对，臣妾不支持您。皇上，嫔妾本想豁出这条命去，免得皇上清誉受损，没想到贤妃姐姐执意不可。你这个狐狸精，为了勾引皇上，做出如此下耻的事情，何该宫规是不是？你忘了没有？在这里面说这些无脸混人，我要把朕放在眼里吗？啊！都是嫔妾的错，请皇上降罪。如你所说，岂不是朕有罪？皇上，自从您拿着剑殿出宫之后，屡屡和他纵情相处，毫无贤君的样子。皇上，让我来。贤妃已在换奏，御史司马，进府先锋，你们私共，是我的错。是皇上。娘娘。不行，憋不住。你的梦雪教的人，你都瞎了。娘娘息怒，都怪你小贱人太不规矩。皇上只是一时被毒吧。守着这规矩27年，凭什么让这个没有规矩的东西踩在我的身上？一定要让荣贵人死。此事娘娘怕是要徐徐讨之，为亲之前得先请娘娘的父亲为您求情啊。可他为亲我的父人，还好我身边有你提醒着，这是奴婢该做的。贤妃那个贱人终于被俘了，你做得很好，谢娘娘夸奖。不过你很厉害，在皇帝面前很得脸。是啊，皇上可喜欢我了，你一定在皇上面前多说娘娘好话，让娘娘成为皇后。嫔妾愚笨，说话失了分寸，请娘娘责罚。本宫就喜欢你的愚笨。皇上息怒。这些都是贤妃父亲上的诏册，明着请罪，实则逼朕放过贤妃，还想要朕给他后位。贤妃姐姐又没有什么大错，况且皇上还要仰仗他的父亲。朕做的真是你难为你了，朕就先回去。嫔妾当初。只是一个小小的宫女，现在过得如此好，多亏了皇上，哪有什么意见？不用。
金融对不是无体，则即日行册封礼。
皇上，陛下何德何能？
这样这样，怎么这想去？往年外奏奖都是立刻被扫兴，今年要奖。
皇上今年是整体，该办得更有人气。臣妾操办过几次大礼，这次让臣妾来办。前妃刚接了臣妾只是想办好这次宴席，向皇上赔罪。
那就谢妃了。
谢皇上。皇上，臣妾想在这次万寿节上让各位妹妹。
I had nowhere else to go.
He was just wondering if it was
Yeah. Oh,
really helpful.
why any help with anything? Or what?
Free labor.
We labor?
No, law is we came for 3 hours without a break, Mr. Ye. Just saying.
Huh?
She's saying that she's telling you child labor laws.
Child labor law?
Yeah, she wanted to just let you know.
Oh, I have some paper in here, Greg.
He ran over.
She what?
She ran over.
She ran over? Who's that? Somebody
No,
else?
her-
there?
She ran over across the
Somebody
room.
did knock, right?
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah.
I heard it. And this is very hurtful. And genuinely, hello. There's nobody here.
Mind games.
But both of us heard it. I think we're just a tad deaf.
Show up or Mr. A will fail you. No, that's from Motivate.
He did say it, bro.
Alright, let's see how you guys do. You want me to grade your paper first?
You do hers and then mine.
But don't tell me the grade until
Okay.
Bro will genuinely bully me.
I have none. No, you're the one who bullies me.
At all. I did a good job for every grade you got it.
No, you. Then you curse me.
I have yet to curse you out. Or curse at you. Or curse in general. Let's be so fair.
What is your
2 RA 28. That one.
RA? Alright, let's see how you do. That's not. Denial is a bliss. Alright. First one is good.
Out loud.
Huh?
Wait, what period do you have?
30.
Yes,
Second one.
Yeah.
Second one is fun.
What's your last name? Free? How do you say it?
That one looks okay.
You know.
That's Krishan. And then your last name starts with a P. And your third. Oh, I am so sorry.
I definitely got cooked on that one. No, wait, not that one.
No, that one was fine.
It
Oh,
was the-
sorry.
It was this one. No, wait, not that one. This one.
I put you for that one. This is the one I've been playing answer for, and I think I was really. Wait, can I see you did it?
Here.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's the one I.
You want to see how I.
I did that. Where's your plus 5? 3x plus 5.
Here's my thing, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. Cancels out. Oh, no, 5. It is 5 on here. 3x plus 5 on here. 5. It just cancels
I
out.
don't.
So then you'll have to do negative 3.
Wait.
It's,
No, hold on.
you times it here.
No,
Times
yeah.
it here.
Yeah.
So this would be 5.
Oh, am I unintelligent?
Sometimes.
I think no. I ended up changing
Alright,
it.
stop tweaking.
Wait, I think I did change that.
There's a definition for what you do. It's called SPAZING.
Wait, no, I did cancel out because I originally wrote it was x plus 3 for some reason. And then I did that, and then I did that.
Mr. A, someone said that they think you're still streaming.
Oh.
Yeah, it cancels out.